This thing impressed me yesterday, but we can do better. Let's do it. First thing we needed to do, added preload to the front and the back. The front has a small amount of preload. The back I've run to about 2/3 of the way down on each side. What preload does is it picks the car up a bit. It increases your ride height. We want this thing to sit higher, and after each bump, we don't want it to stay down. We want it to kind of push itself back up. That was part one. Part two, in the review, this thing was wobbling around going bang, bang, bang. So we needed to slow the shocks down. Two ways to do it. One, you can put different dampers inside that have a different amount of holes. The stock ones have 4 holes drilled. I've left that and I've put 45 weight oil in the rear shocks. I've left the 35, I'm pretty sure it's 35. I chipped it out and had a look. I've left the 35 in the front because it performed just how I wanted. Step 3, these diffs they're all greased, but they're lightly greased. I've stuck heavy grease in the rear. It'll have something of a limited slip diff LSD effect. So now we'll have more power going into the rear and less of it slipping whenever it gets by. This is the 959B. I went through this process with the 959B a while ago, ignoring the fact that I've changed some of the electronics. One thing that really made a difference on my track was to put better suspension front and rear. So I've got these big shocks. Adding preload to the Rlaarlo here should have the same effect because these shocks are much nicer. I've got one more trick up my sleeve if this doesn't work out on the track, and that is to use one of those cheap Sky RC gyros. So when you're turning, it keeps the wheels straight. It helps keep the vehicle pointed where you want it to point. I'm not going to put that in the 006 yet. I'd like to see how our free changes have affected its driving, and I rather suspect, especially with this rear LSD effect in the diff, we should be a lot better. Let's get on the track and have a look. Let's go. All right. When I had this thing apart, I found the spur gear was metal. This is a lot better. All right, let's try, we'll keep it a bit nearer to the camera perhaps. Let's try some cornering. It's still twitchy, and that short wheelbase is, well, that short wheelbase is certainly making life hard here. The gyro could still be worth looking at, but it's pretty stable now. It's a lot more planted now. You can do this too. Take the shocks out, put the higher weight oil in the rear, give it some preload front and rear. Take the rear diff apart. You've got to lift the plastic middle out like you saw on camera before and just pack that diff full of grease. Put it back on, screw it in, wipe the extra grease off and stick it back in. And it's that stiffness just really, that difference of, that's all it took to get us more stability. I'm going to keep playing with this and we'll see how we go with it. For now, I'm pretty happy with it. It's not bad. Thanks for watching. Throw me a like and I'll catch you next time on RC-TNT. And that short wheelbase.